sentences, and I say that respectfully. No, it isn't shaped on me, goddammit. My cousin or my that's okay. It's not, and that's okay. To the genuine ones with no misintentions, I truly hope all is well in your end. And I truly hope that you continue to find peace within regards to who gave up on you or overlooked you during your journey. You matter and you are worthy, and I say that respectfully. Always be yourself with no malicious intentions. I'm Naya, genuine love, respect, and my content is not for everybody. Healing, trauma, and pain is not an overnight process, let alone it's not a race, and I say that respectfully. Always be yourself with no malicious intentions. You know, gang stalking is real, so is your household. You're not doing it for likes and views or clout chasing or fame. Always be yourself and never allow someone to make you feel like you have to live in fear, good day, bad day, or in misunderstanding. I say that respectfully. My content is not for everyone. They said that you was the curse when you was more so the blessing. They was doing all the pretending to play at the end of the day to be by your side with all they lies. They act like they was truly invested into you only to mistreat you. The abuse was real, verbally, physically, emotionally, making you feel like, hold on 1 second, what am I doing here today? Only to realize you wasn't trying to get lost in someone's words. Getting discouraged, nah. You was truly the blessing, asking God for guidance when it comes to elevation. That hold on 1 second, allow me to walk away in the most healthiest way, not to lose my mind. The energy is different when God was truly controlling the will. They would never understand how you truly heal, how folks wanted you to get you out of character, but you understood you was far from mentally ill when they tried to shortchange your vision they couldn't relate to. That was faith, that was lie within you. They said that you thought you was better than somebody, but that was never the case. They didn't like the fact that you was being authentic, truly having potential, overcoming the storm that they couldn't relate to. Hold on 1 second, the energy is different. They created a hate train before you knew it. Or because of the fact that you knew how to fix your crown when they didn't understand the elevation, to stay in their lane, to understand their own unconditional love, to go within. It wasn't an even exchange. How they had to try to throw spirit at you right to left. But hold on 1 second, God wasn't pretending when God was really showing you elevation is different. You know, because God showed you better days ahead, overcoming the storm when folks tried to do you wrong. They would never understand that. Hold on 1 second, I wasn't looking for revenge. You know, you the innocent person, the energy is different. The gravity is different when it comes to I'm worthy. I'm worthy of choosing me. I'm worthy of loving me. I'm worthy of believing if they can't see. They don't understand how I tie my shoe. Coming from poverty and pain, you wasn't trying to lose you. Having potential wasn't the issue. It be the chain of thought for me. How folks will put you in competition when you was never competing. They would try to discourage you. Think they shortchange you when it comes to a blessing. But that unconditional love started within, whether in the storm they come relate to. That hold on 1 second, God wasn't misleading you wrong. It'd be the train of thought for me how this type of stuff actually happens when you have to pretend to be authentic. They didn't like the fact that you was being authentic, original. It started within. Hold on 1 second, that blueprint, God's anointings. Didn't have to worship the devil when the weather in the storm that they couldn't relate to. Hold on 1 second, was staying in their lane. They had mixed emotions, only to realize that God didn't make a mistake, but God allows you to see why that was that testimony that day, to understand why you stand before yourself today when it comes to confidence. How couldn't nobody stop you? You know, because when the devil try to shortchange you, God truly restores you. I may not make sense to the average person, but you didn't have to pretend to play with Spork in a toxic way. And I say that respectfully because someone wanted to shortchange you because they had malicious intentions to project Spork towards you. Always be yourself with no malicious intentions. How God was protecting you during that chapter. Loving yourself is not a crime, and I say that respectfully. When you're your biggest cheerleader, they would never understand that rotation is different. I love myself, not the dim my light. I love myself, not the dim my light. I love myself, not the dim my light. They wanted me not to be in existence. They wanted me to lose my opportunity. I couldn't lose me because God was choosing me. They was in the background hacking your devices. They wanted you to kick you down to see you frown, but maintain a smile. Hold on 1 second. That gravity is different. You understood that receiver that day. The gift to yourself. It wasn't a mistake being authentic. Never lose that vision. I say that respectfully. Far from pretending, showing up for yourself, standing out on confidence. It wasn't easy, but showing up for you, they would never understand gravity is different. Being yourself. Always be yourself with no malicious intentions. I may not make sense to the average person, but being original is not a crime. We may not pray the same. The energy is different. It was your fumble, but my blessing. You try to shortchange me, something that you couldn't relate to was going within. How you shortchange yourself with so much excuses. You saw somebody with potential, only rush you lack confidence, only rush the hold on 1 second, I still pray for you. I ain't have malicious intentions. You took a hate train to go up against an innocent person. The hate train was real because I was truly keeping it real. I was far from mal because I truly knew how to pray. I was asking God for guidance when you said my back was supposed to be against the wall. You wanted me to be mentally unstable. How you was throwing chaos, confusion, spells so I won't maintain a smile. I ain't have to get physical when you try to project the crime on me. All the lies that you had to do only was, hold on 1 second, I wasn't pretending because I wasn't running from who I was. I was running from, that's what you wanted me to do. You wanted me to get lost in my words, to have so many excuses. But I understood balance when it comes to God's knowledge. That energy has different when God truly shows you your potential. Hold on 1 second, and whether they can relate to. I ain't have to cover up the beast I truly wasn't. When they hacked my devices, I ain't have to lie. Hold on 1 second, they took me out, I was the person that had the potential. They said that you was the person that had potential. You know, faith hits different. Don't dim your light. Faith hits different. Don't dim your light. You the blessing to yourself. Don't get discouraged, neighbor. The energy is different when that wake up tip. When you wake up in the morning, hold on 1 second, it's truly refreshing. You was going through so many trials and tribulations. Overcoming spell right to left, they would never understand. You'd have to get physical. You just put it in God's hands. That's God's creation. You God's baby. At the end of the day, didn't have to worship the devil. Being patient with a flow they couldn't relate to. Being authentic, that blueprint hits different. They didn't like the fact that you understood mistakes and taking accountability for your actions, something that you wasn't running from. Hold on 1 second. And when they said that you was mentally unstable, but God was protecting your mental of understanding that you had a heart, understanding why you held that trauma and pain. That testimony was real that day. It was never for likes and views or clout chase, let alone fame. I prayed to go within. My intuitions hits different. Even days when I can't see, I still had a heart. I even carried myself to still respect my neighbor with no misintentions. Hold on 1 second. How folks truly don't have to grow apart. But we do, we don't, we do, we don't. But hold on 1 second, it's the folks that truly for you won't. You know, they would show you respect, good day, bad day, misunderstanding day. It won't be no hate train. When God is truly covering you, they would never understand how you truly elevate. When the enemy, level, and the devil try to test you, hold on 1 second, that was the biggest flex. Only to realize that God was truly wasn't the issue. It was the devil knocking at your door. They would never understand how you can get discouraged. Hold on 1 second, when God was fixing your crown. They said that you was immensely unstable. But hold on 1 second, God was truly showing you that you was worthy of understanding how. You know how to love you, how to understand that with God's who tax bracket it was that day, you was going to overcome that storm. You may not make sense to the average person, but the last thing you had to do is energy harvest off someone's energy, let alone their pain. You didn't have to kick the next person down to drain them of energy at the end of the day that God's trying to restore them from. You know, because when the enemy tries to test your neighbor, God wants you to show your neighbor respect in the most healthiest way. They would never understand that. Hold on 1 second. I wasn't trying to lose myself another day. How folks in the background were trying to humble you, all because you truly know how to love you. It was far from pretending, regardless they had to pay this person, pay that person, regardless was a lie or not. When it come to your past, something that you wasn't running from. When it come to self-love, hold on 1 second, could truly last. You know, because healing, trauma, and pain, everybody's motivation is different, but I still knew how to respect my neighbor to stay in my lane. I know how to root folks on and say congratulations, let alone respect. Matter of fact, if I'm inspired by someone at the end of the day, I don't mind putting respect by their name. It be a train of thought for me how folks don't like that when it comes to, hold on 1 second, I painted y'all to be one way. Why you keep showing up as being so authentic and loving and kind and respectful? I had so much to say when it came to spirit projected on you, and you keep overcoming what I'm trying to project on you. Because God never gave up on me, that's why. I ain't have to tell a lie when I said God was by my side. He tried to rob me mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, trying to blackmail me against me because I actually showed up for me. The hate train was real, but I wasn't trying to lose myself. You said I was mentally ill, but hold on 1 second, God's between protecting my mental health. Always be yourself with no malicious intentions. I'm nice and I'm respecting my content. It's not for everybody. You know, being authentic is not a crime. You know, regardless if you got me shadow banned or not, one thing I'm not going to stop doing is being my authentic self, and I say that respectfully. You know, folks with those spill work at you in a toxic way, how we have to take a whole hate train to go up against an innocent person. I never signed up for nobody's one-sided ass contract. How folks be so inspired by you. They will sit there, take notes on you, and then translate and paint themselves to be you, but they can't be you because there's only one you. Something that you never had to lack was being authentic. They'll be so inspired, say that you don't got potential, that you're the karmic, you're the one doing this, you're the one doing that, when they the whole entire time telling the lies, trying to get folks to go against you, to paint you out to be somebody you truly not, because you understood elevation, that hold on one second, it was truly a dream come true. Finding peace within that balance is different. Acknowledging your worth, they would never understand you wasn't trying to get discouraged. You had to pray to put it in God's hands. You didn't have to worship the devil. We ain't the same. I just know how to respect my neighbor when you couldn't weather your own storm to go within. Always be yourself and don't miss attention. We may not pray the same, but respect's a two-way street. How this type of stuff happens every single day. You know, gang stalking is real towards your household. You're not doing it for likes and views. You know, when you're in silent for someone to hack your devices and then use you against you and blackmail you against you with groups of people, or have somebody watching your every move under surveillance, something that you never signed up for, was when someone's one-sided ass contract. And then when you speak up for yourself, they said, no, you're mentally unstable, or because they trying to cover what they did behind closed doors when it comes to their narrative because they tax bracket. Or let alone, they try to blackmail you against you and pay folks to get you out of character, to discourage you and try to humiliate you, to paint this narrative that you're mentally unstable. But they pick and choose who could talk about God. They pick and choose who could talk about spirituality. They pick and choose who could talk about healing. They pick and choose who could talk about narcotics. They pick and choose who could talk about music. They pick and choose who could talk about this topic, that topic, this topic, that topic, or this topic, or that topic. They be trying to throw it for me until it comes to you. They want to discourage you. They want you to believe in your faith. They don't want you to be authentic, let alone original. They be trying to throw it for me. Understand overcoming pain, we ain't the same. How they would shadow ban you because, hold on one second, they see you with potential and they don't want you to elevate faster than them. But you was never in competition with these folks, let alone y'all don't even attract the same folks. No, it's the trait go for me. Hello. We don't even attract the same people. Your typical norm is not my typical norm. And our typical norm of folks at the end of the day is not the same folks who are going to show up for each other. And I say that respectfully. Like, folks would be so jealous of you because of your intuition, your beauty. You know, because beauty lies within. Fuck the eyes. I don't mean no disrespectful, because the eyes can always lie. And I say that respectfully. Because someone could say you're beautiful today and ugly tomorrow. It's been trying to thought from me. Hold on one second. It was never hate. But I'm just saying how this type of shit actually happens. Let's be authentic. And I'm saying being authentic, being original at the end of the day. Because someone can say, hey, you're beautiful today. And hold on one second. You know how a dude at the end of the day got so much to say when he trying to run game, like, damn, you fine as fuck. You know, you eye appealing to me. But hold on one second. Somebody else will look at your vocabulary like, nah, you're not my type. But I got to keep it pushing. It be the thought process for me. How this type of stuff actually happens. How someone could truly fall in love with your intuitions. You know, the love that you have for yourself, the confidence you build up for yourself. You know, dark days when you have with self-esteem issues or whatever the case may be. That vision that you can relate to, look in the mirror, that hold on one second, I am beautiful to go within. You know, days when you like your voice, or you didn't like your hairstyle, or you didn't like the fact that, hold on one second, you had scars on your face, or bumps here, bumps there, whatever the case may be. You know, certain folks can relate to you. How you see yourself as beautiful. How do you see yourself as fine. How you see yourself as so attractive, or whatever the case may be. But hold on one second, the devil did lie. Because you know why? God didn't lie to you. Because God created you the way you're supposed to be. Even when the folks don't spoke at you, God still allowed you to understand that wound that was endured within you. Yeah, it was a burn mark. It was a scar. It was a bump. It was this. It was a sore. It was this. It was that. It was a cut. It was this. It was that. There's something they can't relate to. That, hold on one second. My open wounds allowed me to heal, but hold on one second. I had to keep it real. I had to love me to understand at the end of the day. I may not be eye appealing to the next person, but I'm fine to me. Always be yourself with no malicious intentions. And I say that respectfully. You know, unconditional love lies within. It does. And it's not competition. It was never competition when it comes to loving yourself. When it comes to my creativity, I work alone regardless who has me shadow banned or not, and regardless who's in the background hacking my devices. And one thing I don't have to do is lie or portray you to be something that you're truly not at the end of the day. Because keeping it real, hold on one second, that's not in your vocabulary. But I understood I didn't have to hurt myself because of the fact that you wanted in my life. You said I was a crash out because I spoke up for myself. You said I was mentally unstable because I was keeping the real, speaking up for myself when I wasn't trying to hurt myself or my neighbor. They said, you know, the only way we can put you in a sideboard or lock you up or do something to you is if you're only willing to hurt yourself or others around you. But when you don't have that mindset of hurting yourself or others around you, they pick and choose how they try to find ways to kick you down and put you in a mindset of being by yourself behind a wall. That, hold on one second, nobody hears those cries. Nobody hears your pain. Nobody hears you because someone got controlling issues. Then they said that you're mentally unstable, but they the same ones playing with spore. They the same ones in certain tax brackets watching you watch you elevate, and they don't want you to love you. But they say get your life together when you go to the courthouse. They said justice. Hold on one second, and God we serve. Hold on one second. Are you truly keeping the real? It be the train of thought for me like that shit is too backwards. You know, when someone didn't do something compared to when someone does something. It's a difference when someone takes accountability for their actions and actually change their life and make it right. It'd be the train of thought for maybe folks out here doing shit for likes. If he's a clout chaser, to hold on one second, it's folks that's actually changing their life. It'd be the train of thought for me. It's folks really losing their lives out here. And then you sitting there watching an innocent person when you need another job description. You hacking their devices, gang stalking them. Got the next door neighbor telling they every move in the man they tax bracket. A mother just lost her daughter, her son. A father just lost his daughter, his son, his mother, his father. You can put a name to your book at the end of the day. I don't mean no disrespect in the hands of another human being. That was the devil that day. And you mean to tell me that you can't find the face and the print of who did that day? But you mean to tell me that you're bothering an innocent person and then you sit there and say that meant unstable? It'd be the train of thought for me. When you start to talk like this, they say that you're mentally unstable. You know, justice for the people who with no malicious intentions. You know, the ones that don't gotta bother their neighbor. The ones that speak up for themselves when it comes to elevations. The one that's not poisoning a neighbor. You know, the ones that's not poisoning your neighbor's food, narcotics. You know, you said you made something legal. It'd be the train of thought for me how you try to use someone as a liking view or a clout chasing point of view, so to kick someone down and call them a crack addict, a dope head, when someone lied and manipulate them way into a situation, all because of jealousy, hate, and envy. How the fuck did that happen that day? Oh, here we go. I gotta be mindful of what I say, because they're gonna quick to say I'm gonna crash out when I'm far from it at the end of the day. Because they pick and choose who can curse. They pick and choose who can pray. They pick and choose who can talk about God. I don't worship the devil. Good day, bad day, all misunderstanding day. It'd be the train of thought for me. We ain't the same. How this type of shit actually happens every single day. How folks put you in a category because of your sexual orientation, your disability, your age. Everybody has a good, bad day, misunderstanding day. Fuck it, you can't see my pain, but I still know how to respect my neighbor even when you got a headache today. I still know how to respect my neighbor. You got emotional distress going on within, right? You got body pain. Your fucking hand is all fucking swollen, but I can't fucking see this shit. Hold on one second, but I ain't fucking sitting there telling you you ain't got fucking pain in your hand. You got it in your hand, and I truly hope that you heal. It'd be the train of thought for me when they quick to say that you're mentally ill. You know, they like to control the narrative when there's a motherfucking supervisor in charge and different tax brackets and shit or whatever the case may be. You put a name in your book when it comes to your job description. You know, when you deal with folks in different tax brackets, when you come encounter with these folks, how they want to take their job title and raise it over your head and hold on one second, want to control your life. Nah, how do you do that today? Until it's your situation, you be like, hold on one second. Nah, I wouldn't want somebody to do that to me today. So why would you do it to an innocent person that knew how to respect you? They never had malicious intentions. Oh, you wanted to humble somebody. This type of stuff actually happens. How folks feel like because, regardless if you're a supervisor or not, they try to humble you. Because you respected somebody. Because you wanted them to do their job. You know, you got people that talk with their hands. You got people that talk with their eyebrows. You got people that talk with their eyes. But they're not trying to hurt nobody. They're not causing violence in the community. It be folks on the job scene for over 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Then you be so surprised, like, hold on one second. You mean to tell me that you haven't listened to this whole entire time with all your lies? How this type of shit actually happens? You mean to tell me you was projecting a hate crime towards an innocent person and then you trying to come in and act like you was the saver hoe? It's the train of thought for me. Because before someone started speaking up for themselves, y'all was in the background trying to rob somebody mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, spiritually. Damn, energy harvesting off their energy. And y'all motherfuckers was in the background hacking their devices. And then you said, hold on one second, that wasn't me that day. Ain't gonna talk about nah, they just crazy. Now, we got a hate train, so we gonna go up against in the right community at the end of the day. Nobody gives a fuck about them. You know how this type of stuff actually happens? You ever went to an environment where you're supposed to feel safe going into a community? And you went into the store to get a proper service. You wasn't going into the store to steal. You walked around with your shopping cart, only to realize that the person that was watching the monitors. They never moved their eyes off the monitors. And because they never removed their eyes off the monitors, why are they still asking you, did you take something today? So if I took something, will it have been safe? You watched me the whole entire time. No, I ain't taking nothing. So they try to humiliate you, disrespect you. Then when you got the person that does take something in the day, that don't know how to take accountability for their action, oh, they just walked away. But then when someone does take something, there's a difference when someone takes something and takes accountability. You know those two different energies? You know how when someone can go in front of a judge and say, listen, judge, I did et cetera, this time frame in this time frame. This been going on, et cetera, in my life. And I don't take accountability for my actions. Compared to the ones who done committed a massive of real crimes, like taking people their free will, and still walking around amongst us today. And they wearing a mask so well, but hold on one second, am I wrong? Or are you wrong? Because now you're still able to say something with their free will, but then someone goes to take a little candy out of the store, whatever the case may be, that may cost $1 or $2. After you just ask somebody, hold on one second, I'm only hungry today, and they said, no, not today, but I'm only helping my people. This type of shit actually happens. Did you know? Does it happen in your community? You ever ask somebody for something before you take something? And only before you take something, they want to label you a criminal. And before they label you the criminal, they was already willing to help their community. But because it was you, and because you don't fit into their typical norm, they don't want to help you. How this type of stuff actually happens. You know, it doesn't matter if you're homeless or not. And the person's not doing it for likes and views or clout chasing or fame, and I say that respectfully. You know, they didn't have to pretend to not have food in their stomach. They didn't have to pretend to not have mommy and daddy issues. They didn't have to pretend to be RAP'd. They didn't have to pretend to deal with domestic violence situations. They didn't have to pretend to just get beat up by their landlord, the super, the maintenance person, or their next door neighbors, or whatever the case may be, or the construction worker, or the landlord, or the lawyer, or their best friend, or their friend. They were just asking for something to eat. And because they asked for something to eat, they was denied access. And because they was denied access, somebody came in behind them with the same situation. But the difference between you, them, and they, you was clean and they wasn't. And they was able to service them, not you, because who you was that day. This type of stuff actually happens. My content is not for everyone, and I say that respectfully. You know, you don't have to say somebody's name for someone to make an assumption that you're talking about them. Because there's millions of people who came across somebody in their life, or maybe not experienced it yet, or probably don't even realize that the person that they put their respect in or feel safe by somebody wouldn't do such a thing. Like some of their free will. You got individuals that take accountability for their actions, and you got folks that run from it. I'll respect you more if you take accountability. You know, folks be talking about they real recognize real. But you mean to tell me that because you got jealousy and envy towards somebody, you poison their food, you poison their drink, you poison their narcotics? And then you want to paint somebody to be mentally unstable after you done dibbled and dabbled because you was jealous and envy and had hate mindset towards an innocent person, so they mentally unstable? Where does that leave you? And you mean to tell me that you have to create a hate train towards somebody to rob them mentally, physically, spiritually, energy, harvest off their energy, and then you say that they're mentally unstable and you want to get them locked up or put them in the sideboard or be able to control the narrative of somebody's life until it's one of your family members that you love and care, and you say, you know what, no, I'm not going to allow this to happen. So see, people pick and choose who they want to bully. People pick and choose who they want to take that narrative out on. And be the center thought for me until it's your story. And it was never for likes and views and you want justice. And be the train of thought for me. I can't not everybody. One thing I don't do is run from he say, she say. I can repeat anything that I said that day, regardless to what next door neighbor, any tax bracket, and I say that respectfully. When it comes to my creativity, I work alone. I always have. No mother or father should lose, or a loved one should lose a loved one because of the fact that someone's screaming all day long. I'm at peace with myself. I'm at peace with myself. I'm at peace with myself. If making you be at peace with yourself is comfortable to shortchange somebody energy, harvesting off their energy, destiny swiping with somebody, gang stalking somebody, hacking their devices, paying them out to be mentally unstable, something is mentally wrong with you. And then you said that someone said somebody's mentally unstable. No, the doctor needs to come see you and reevaluate your mental health before you bother another innocent person. Playing your pretended manipulation mind games because of your looks, because you're able to control the narrative. One thing I'm gonna always do is keep it real, and I say that respectfully. I don't run from he say, she say. And I don't run from my past, and I say that respectfully. Never for a wrong, for pouring into the wrong cup. Because with growth comes change, and change comes true understanding of self-reflection. Why you stand before yourself today. You are beautiful, you are handsome, you matter, and you are worthy. My content is not for everyone. And when it comes to my creativity, I work alone regardless to who hacked my devices that day or who's still in the process of still hacking my devices today. One thing I don't do is have to lie at the end of the day. How folks want to control the narrative of your life. And then when you speak up for yourself, they say that you're mentally unstable because they're going to have a whole community go up against you. One thing I don't live is fear, and I don't fear no human that believes the same as me. We may not have the same blood type, but I know how to respect my neighbor with no malicious intentions because I don't live in fear. I only fear God, my heavenly mother, and my heavenly father, and I don't worship the devil good day, bad day, or misunderstanding, and I say that respectfully. Always be yourself with no malicious intentions. My content is not for everybody. Always be yourself. Loving yourself is not a crime. How folks say I'm doing come to me spells, I'm energy harvesting off their energy. You know God reveals when someone is playing to somebody's energy? Do you not know God reveals when someone is doing weird ass shit like that? And I say that respectfully. And never not one time did I have to say your name, but damn, your mask for love. It wasn't an even exchange. How you bother an innocent person because you decided to create a hate train, because you had jealousy and envy and hate within you. I never signed up for nobody's one-sided ass contract, and I don't work with nobody. I don't gotta pretend at the end of the day, regardless to who put me in what conversation to try to blackmail me against who. And I say that respectfully. How folks will use your creativity, will watch you for years and months at a time, hack your devices and take your pictures and watch your content, what you watch within watching, who you watch on your For You page, or they even control your For You page, and then say, you know what, I know this person, when they don't even know you. How this type of stuff actually happens. My content is not for everybody, and I say that respectfully. I would never hurt myself good day, bad day, or misunderstanding day. Being yourself is not a crime. You know, everybody's in a different process when it comes to healing trauma and pain. But I still know how to respect my neighbor, regardless of your sexual orientation, your disability, your age, your religion, or your culture. When someone threatens your life, you're not wrong for speaking up for yourself when you ain't got malicious intentions. And I say that respectfully. Always be yourself with no malicious intentions. Gang stalking is real towards your household, and you're not doing it for likes and views or clout chasing. When God sends the right people into your life, respect's a two-way street with no malicious intentions. It's not sneak revenge. I'll do you better than you. I'll watch you and observe you to do you better than you. Or I'll energy harvest off your energy I'll do you better than you. I'll project spoke on you to cause chaos and confusion in your life. That's not how God operates. It's never jealousy or envy or hate, and I say that respectfully. When someone walks into your life, they respect you, good day, bad day, misunderstand day. They act their body weight regardless they came from poverty and pain. They don't look at you like competition. And I say that respectfully. And they know how to put respect on your name because you know why? As a child of God, not only as a child of God, they wasn't there to try to humble you. Being yourself, authentic. Have a safe year, day, evening, week, weekend, you matter, you're worthy. Protect your energy, protecting your family, stop the violence, stay out of trouble, and I say that respectfully. When someone says you don't have potential, but they sit there and so inspired by you, and then they sit there and take your creativity and make it their own, and even make money off you, but don't know how to put respect on your name, never lose the vision that God endowed with you. That's faith. Even when they behind closed doors, paying this person, paying that person, to energy harvest off your energy, send spell towards you, send low frequencies to mess with your mental health, or even try to get you locked up, put you in the psych, but at the end of the day, or try to blackmail you against you, and especially when it's never part of someone's contract at the end of the day. Never give up on yourself, and I say that respectfully. Loving yourself is not a crime. I'm Naya, genuine love, respect, and my content is not for everyone. Have a safe year, day, evening, week, weekend. You man, you're worthy. No mother or father, regardless if they in a child's life or not, and if they're homeless or not, should be robbed mentally, physically, spiritually, or financially, or a sight that they free will. Because someone wants the energy harvest off their energy. Or someone's trying to destiny swipe with somebody. You can never take someone's destiny. Good day, bad day, or misunderstanding, especially when you're dealing with a divine child being. And I say I respect their child of God. We may not pray the same, but respect a two-way street. I don't worship the devil. Good day, bad day, or misunderstanding day. My content is not for everyone. How folks will try to humble you, and they don't even know you. They will sit there and dig up your past, something that you never running from, and especially when, even if somebody lied on you or not, one thing you never had to do is run from yourself. We all not the same when it comes to elevation. I would never hurt myself good day, bad day, or misunderstanding day. You know, when someone sees you have pretend you, or you know how to be authentic, you know, never give up on yourself, and I say that respectfully. Because the right people walk into your life, and they don't got to be fake towards you. That high will be genuine. You know, when someone's truly not for you, you can save the hello. You can save the good morning, the afternoon, the evening. You can save it. You can save the holding the door for somebody. You can save your energy. And I say that respectfully. No need to pretend and act like you're for somebody when you're against them, especially when you're a part of the hate train. Or don't act like you're for somebody when you don't even want to acknowledge somebody. There's no need to put some energy into something in the day that you're going to disrespect because someone knew how to respect you. And when someone is truly not for you at the end of the day, there's no need for you to send an evil eye or let alone spell work to blackmail an innocent person against themselves, or because you lack self-confidence, or because you're having a good or bad day. Doesn't matter what you're going through. If you don't want to hold that door, keep it pushing. Someone said thank you, no thank you. It's not a crime. It's train of thought for me. How someone could sit there and say no thank you to you, and the first thing you're saying is someone got an anger issue, someone got a mental problem, someone's mentally unstable. How did you get that? How did you come up with that narrative? Someone said no thank you. I never knew it was a crime to say thank you and no thank you to people. Because all help is not good help. The same way when you go to certain doctors' environments, you go to certain communities, you go into certain establishments, someone's being rude to you, and you have to be rude to them at the end of the day. Someone's spitting your food, and you have to do nothing to them. Was you deserving of that service when you have to do nothing to them? No, you didn't. You wasn't rude or disrespectful in no shape or form. You gave courtesy, respect when it was due. But every environment is truly not for you. But when someone is not for you and they're in your environment, that does not mean disrespect them because you lack self-control when it comes to discipline. Someone is not for you, just stay in your lane. There's no need to create a hate train towards an innocent person. And I say that respectfully. Didn't matter your tax bracket, let alone your weight size. Because just because you are a certain age, a lot of people don't act it. And I say that respectfully. And there's still people still getting a life together because life is lifing. And everybody's healing journey is not the same. Everybody does not heal the same. So you're sitting there judging somebody at the end of the day because they decided to heal on God's time and they decide to heal a certain kind of way, but they're far from lazy. They're showing up for themselves every day. It's not an excuse, but you sitting there hacking the device, monitoring their every move. But there's folks that's actually doing crimes, and you mean to tell me that you overlooked that? It be the train of thought for me how folks pick and choose who they want to bully. I'm nice and I'm respect. Always be yourself in numbers and intentions. I don't run from he say, she say. And when it comes to my creativity, I work alone. And it's currently 5:16 p.m. Always be yourself. And today's currently August 20. Today's August 2nd. Hey, what the fuck? I'm always at the end of the month. Hey, straight on me. It's only the beginning of the month. Always be yourself. You know, regardless if you're an entrepreneur or not, you got to start somewhere when it comes to elevation. Regardless to who's not cheering for you or not, never give up on you. And regardless who's in the background throwing sport at you or whatever the case may be, you matter and you are worthy. And all the right people will show up for you, good day, bad day, and misunderstanding. And I say that respectfully. I'm nice and respect, and respect is a two-way street. Peace and respect, say respect your neighbor, stuff about you anywhere on them, you like, go your neighbor, on them, you like. When it comes to my creativity, I work alone. I would never hurt myself, good day, bad day, or misunderstanding day. No, today, tomorrow, the rest of the year before that, the year before that, and the year before that, and remaining years after that. I would never hurt myself, and I would never hurt myself or my neighbors, and I would never disrespect my neighbor first. No, it's the train of thought for me. I gotta go. And I say that respectfully. I don't gang stalk people. I don't project spoiler towards people. I do not energy harvest off my neighbor's energy. I don't disrespect with my neighbors. And one thing I don't do is run from he say, she say. I know how to give respect when it's due, and I don't got hate in my vein. I know how to respect my neighbor. We all ain't the same. Always be yourself with numbers intentions. August 2nd, 2025, 5:18 p.m. Closing out.